Good evening, everyone. I am Mike Asherbrander, the proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community, and I am here with our publicity queen, the one and only Doc Leland, Constance Leland, Dr. CJ. She's got like names like Dagum Paulo Creed with Level Up Academy. How are you today?
I am cold. See?
Cold. I am not cold. It is 95 degrees, and my air conditioner went out, and I'm in my happy shed. So if I pass out, we got Dr. CJ here to finish the show. Thank you, CJ. So let's nobody comes in the first minute or two. So as we chitty chat, when I see somebody pop in, we will get to your anthology and the 50 inspirational. There are so many good things happening right now. Uh, so many positive things, man. Oh, here they come. Here they
Hey,
come.
Jeffrey.
Oh,
What's up?
check it out.
Check
Even
it
Jeff,
out.
man.
That's right.
Jeff is so busy, and the guy's just he's man. Talking about workhorse, and Jeff just and I love it. Awareness. He knows, man. He's like, hey, this is gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Hard is an understatement. The guy just keeps going, man. I love it because that's the iceberg effect. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people don't get the iceberg effect. Oh, look, she's lucky. Oh, look, and blah blah blah. We know better. Dadgummit, we know who's LinkedIn user with the hearts. You gotta tell me who you are. I'm gonna give you a
I know,
shout out.
right? Tommy says, Good morning.
Tell me, oh, I got a surprise. Hey, those of you popping in all the time and supporting and being inconvenienced, boy, do we got a surprise for you. You hang on.
We
All right,
do.
we'll tell you later. Yeah, we do. Oh,
We
hey,
do.
Royce, you too, brother. Look at that. We got Jenny. Oh, Jenny Gold. Good to see
Jamie and
you.
Sharon and my sister Susanna. Heart, heart, heart for
Susanna.
everybody.
Love you,
Yes.
Susanna. Look,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy. Tommy said good morning, man. Was it like 2 a.m. in Laos right now? This guy doesn't care, dude. He just works. Love it.
Jenny's
Oh,
here
look.
too. I see Jenny. Oh, Natasha. Hey, Natasha. I've been seeing her um on my live as well. So thank you for that. And I know you wanted to write in our anthology. We have another one coming up after this one. So keep in touch.
Coach Lee. We got Royce, Sharon Byrne. Good to see you, Sharon. Oh, look at that.
Jamie.
Look at this. Talk about workhorse. Look, Jamie, she must took that 5 minute break. Thank you for joining us, Jamie. Man, people love Jamie. They see her grinding, trying to help people and use her experience to help other people in mental health and live happy lives. How the hell can you not get behind that one? So thank you, Jamie. Who else? Oh, Natasha. I knew it. Tasha. Yep. Thank you. New Hound is man. She's been here like she's she's just hound's fever. Oh, Islam, man. I've got brother. Dude. Remind me. I've got to get that audio download. It's a musical. His book, like it's in music form. Yeah, we got to talk to him. My goodness.
What?
Tommy said 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Yes, sir. Um,
That's amazing.
we'll
Matt is
help.
also here. Matt, thank you for coming in.
Matt T, appreciate you, brother. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
now that people are here, and then we've got our very own. See, we're gonna have some fun today, man. Our very own Daniel Larusso, right? Way cooler than Daniel, man. This guy, he is the real deal. Humble guy, love him. I met him through you and Sandra, right? Harsha,
Yep.
and
Yep.
we cannot wait. Oh man, he's just a pure dude, man. And he's going through the same grind and difficult decision. I can't wait to talk to this guy. Oh, love you too, Jamie. Thank you. She's like, wait a minute, I didn't say I love you. I just said I'm here. All right. Good deal. Hey, thank you all, man. It's just good times. I looked at the stats. I'm going to put these in the Mighty Networks. If you're not in the Hounds of Business, hey, what's wrong? Hey, come test drive it. Hopefully, you try on clothes before you buy them. All right, hopefully, you date before you get married. That's how we look at it. Hey, come in, check it out. All right, test drive it. If it ain't for you, hell, I'll walk you somewhere it makes a good fit. It's not about me. Hey, too many people like Jamie and all the folks here, Matt, you guys have an experience. You have something to impact the world. And it's a daggum shame it won't happen if we don't have the support and the resources. And that's why I love Dr. CJ here. She makes things affordable and available that you just can't get elsewhere unless you got a big pack of money like Mr. Monopoly or some shit. Right? So we got to get this going. I tell you what, let's talk about you, and then we'll bring up our amazing guest. So 50 Inspirational. This has been very, very, very awesome. I love getting to meet the new people. I've connected with some people, reconnected with people, like Willie J. Right? What a cool dude, man. That Willie J is just amazing. And then I felt cool back in the day because obviously I met him through you, and he is hitting top charts of everything, man. I can't even keep up with this guy, right? Good Christian music. He's a good dude. He walks the walk. And even my daughter, did I tell you that back in the day when he came to the Hounds? And she's like, Willie J's in the Hounds? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, I know Willie J from Instagram. I was like, I feel like George Jefferson. I was like,
You're like,
yeah, Willie,
yeah, what's
yeah,
up?
yeah, yeah. Daddy got Willie J. Yeah, I was just strutting. I didn't care nobody else. I just my daughter thought it was cool. I was like, "Yeah, you go." So Willie J. So tell us
Oh,
about this. Tell us what's happening. Where are you at in the process, and just go.
yeah, so 50 Inspirational started last year. Because you know me, right? Like when I come up with something and I really love it, I just go with it in 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, let's go. And I bring people up to elevate them all at once to see, be intentional. I wanted to promote more of intentionality of the community to see who's doing who and really the movers and shakers. So what I do is I put the application out there. If you are a community leader, if you're what you're doing in your community, you own a business, and you want publicity, I got the platform. Let's go. So that's literally what I do with my community. I do it once a week, every Wednesday for free, right? And then so I said I wanted to do it 50 at a time, and so that's what I did last year. I'm doing it this year differently. I have audio rooms for it. We're continuing the 50 inspirational intentions with Dynamic Village audio room on Sunday at 7:30. And really, if you look at each of these person individually, you are going to see that most, if not all of them, are very intentional on helping the community, right? I mean, you're in there twice a year now, right? And Willie J too, right? And so
Yep.
Susanna was in it last year, but I wanted her to be an ambassador this year, and Kinga also, because I know that they can carry me, right, with their help, so that we can do more. And so was Ennie, and so was Danielle, right? We want to make sure that we're in that, when we're in that team together. And next year, by June, okay, guys, application opens from June to July. It closes in July. From July to August, you send the video. From August to September, that's where we do. We elevate you every single where that you can possibly think of. So that's what 50 Inspirational Connection is. It's about community. Yep.
Absolutely. And you know this, and I love seeing all the synergies and things, man. It's just unbelievable. It's just an amazing experience. Oh, look, Papa's hitting buttons again. There it is. All right. So, and again, reconnecting. There's Zion. I mean, there's so many people on here, man. Hounds, friends of the Hounds, but they're all good people, and you're pushing them up. And there's a lot, a lot of unexpected benefits from this kind of thing. And again, this I preach it like the redneck parrot. It's the who before the what to me. Right? There's tons of people that do what we do, but not like we do. And there's only one of us. And I love
Hmm.
working with people that I can get excited about, man. And so this is awesome. And then you have one other thing. If I can find the button, there it is. It's 96 degrees in here now. Boy, I'm toughening up. All
You'll
right.
be melting it down.
Tell us about this amazing anthology and then something, the special part of this, the extra special part of
Yeah.
this.
So Rebel with a Cause literally is a movement where it's not just another anthology that you just came up with and then be done. It's a movement where a lot of people I've noticed is that they are doing something because of their experience. You know, some of them went through a lot of depression or anxiety, and they actually thrive instead of just surviving. And they want to share those stories with you. Some of them have been abused, and they have a lot of mental breakdown during their lifetime, and they found a way to heal their heart. Like Kim Lee, she's going to be a heart healer because she's good at it, right? Lily is found her place and her superpower when it comes to light language. And if you're curious what light language is, they're going to be on my TV show later on, right? So Santa Dawn is always about moving beyond boxes. And now, we're doing impact and legacy. What really is special about this is that our dear sister Jess, who was also, you were on it, Mike, with the Beyond Boundaries, right? And,
Oh yeah,
and so was Harsha, Beyond Boundaries book. If you look
that's
on,
how I met her.
yeah, it's on their names in here. So Jess basically wanting to be on Rebel with a Cause because she told me, hey, I want to move forward my movement of mental wellness, right? So because we lost Jess and she crossed the the Rainbow Bridge, I wanted to dedicate this book for her as well on my part. So I created a journal. This is a notebook, it's on Amazon. And the notebook literally will have Jess's information in the back on it. But this one is half like to do list for your to do list, right? To do, follow up notes. And then the rest of the half is literally, it's like a notebook that I want you guys to write. What do you do that you're a rebel? With a cause, right? You're actually changing the world. What are you doing to change the world? If opportunity, you can't find opportunity knocking on your door, what kind of ways are you doing for your community that you're creating opportunities, not only for you, but also for other people? So the notebook proceeds will go to autism because that's near and dear to Jess's heart. And then the book itself, which has about 18 to 20 authors, I believe, the proceeds on that book will go to mental health, specifically depression and things like that. So that's what we're doing with Rebel with a Cause. It will come out on ebook next week, September 6th, and it will be free for 24 hours because we want impact and legacy. But we would love to ask that you guys would give us a review and what you think about it. And then on September 14th, the physical book will come out. And again, all the proceeds will go out to nonprofit organizations that I have chosen for dedicating this project to Jess.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, I know you're not doing it for me, but it's just who you are, you know. And again, it's not a PR stunt or anything. We miss her, we loved her, and we knew her what she was about and all the things she was doing, and we're carrying it forward. And you're leading the flag on that. So thank you for doing that. Um, Nothing will bring her back, but her work can continue, and that she was just an amazing person, man. No malice in her, and she was always doing things, and we can carry that forward in the best we can. So thank you so much. I'll tell you what, let's roll the intro and get hey, let's roll the intro 12 minutes after. Hey, that's how we roll. We do what we
Yeah.
want. Yeah, daggum. All right, and it's 96 degrees. We're gonna keep on. So somebody, Jamie, if you're here, keep on checking every 5 minutes and see. I melt at 100. And yes, it's Fahrenheit. Okay, so all my European and the Australians are Fahrenheit only. Don't be pointing at Celsius.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
Okay, hey, let me get this out before my computer melts. It just started like all glitching. Oh my goodness. Hey, so we have the one and only. Say his last name for me, CJ. Probably say it.
Harsha Dandamudi.
There you
I
go.
know he's frozen.
Also known as Harsha. He's like Prince. He don't need. It's like Kofi. You don't need a last name, man. We just know who you are. So thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here, man. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Mike. I always enjoy coming on these with you guys. So thanks for having me.
Dude, my pleasure. My pleasure. Anything you want to add, CJ? Because that's your buddy. I met him through you, and so
That's
and he didn't. He stayed and he stayed your friend. So I behaved. I did really good, didn't I? But pat on the
I
back.
don't know. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. We just started. Actually, Harsha's amazing, right? Like his, I mean, I don't know if you've read his chapters. I think that it's so brave for us to talk about our families and be vulnerable because he understands the end goal is not about him. Yes, it is his experiences. Yes, he did live that trauma, but at the end of the day, it's not about you and your trauma. Your trauma is now bigger to inspire, to give hope, right? For people who's going through that. And Harsha has a big heart. And by the way, he's a little sneaky. He has a lot of this with our signature in it. And I wasn't smart enough to do that. Harsha's collecting everyone's signature. Look at him,
Man.
he's smiling. I was like, oh, okay. But I
Dude,
love
but
Harsha. I'm a Harsha fan.
it was fun, man. I got to meet people and give out books. I've still got to give Scott Heathman his book and autograph it. And I lost that daggum. I lost the bracelet I made. Remember I crocheted the bracelet?
Yeah.
That's supposed to go to him like what 5 months ago. But hey, Scott, we're buddies, man. I'll send it to you. So, uh, let's start with the background, Harsha, because you have a diverse background, man. If you don't mind, tell the folks like where you go, because you were public speaking at a very young age, right? So give us a little background on baby Harsha.
Yeah. uh, I was actually an extremely shy child. So the fact that I started public speaking at like age 12, like in middle school, was very, very much a shock to myself as well. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the art of communication. I think communication, it's the cornerstone of the relationships we make, and it's actually one of the pillars to a long and healthy, happy life. So I really got into it. And I would compete in like speech and debate and things like that through middle school, high school. Won a lot of tournaments and championships, and that was just one of those hobbies that I enjoyed. I tried to do athletics as well growing up. Varsity tennis in high school, did swimming. Enjoy all sports of all kinds. I just like being very, very active. It helped me like build confidence and kind of get out of my shell a little bit. So, but like all good people that look like me, I was supposed to go to medical school or law school, and that just wasn't in the cards for me. So, probably one of the most difficult decisions and also conversations I had with my family was telling them that my passion was to go in a different direction. And I grew up in a tough household. For those of you that read my chapter, and I have no qualms about it, or I'm not ashamed about it, because it made me who I am today. But it was a violent household. It was difficult. I had a very tough dad, and there wasn't a lot of affection or praise. It was more put downs and violent behavior. So martial arts was something that always interested me. I was a fan of Bruce Lee growing up, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, you name it.
Oh yeah.
Martial arts masters. And the way they moved was just always, there was something different about the Chinese martial artists and Chinese Kung Fu versus everything else, versus karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, whatever it was. There was a certain grace and flow to it that I just found completely aesthetically appealing to my eye, but it was also extremely, you could tell it's deadly stuff as well.
Yeah.
So when I got to college, I found my martial arts organization, which is right next to where I was going to school at the University of California, San Diego. That was White Dragon Martial Arts, and I met my mentor, who would later become my teacher and train me to do the things that I'd be able to do. And that's Master Ming Lao, phenomenal individual, still trains many individuals out here in San Diego County, and we're all under the umbrella of White Dragon. There's several White Dragon schools. The founder is Master Nathan Fisher, who's a legend in his own right, one of the highest ranking authorities in Shaolin Kung Fu and Yang Tai Chi, which is what I studied in. And eventually he promoted me to the rank of Sifu, which, for those of you that don't know what that is, if you watch Kung Fu Panda, it's the little badger guy that trains the
Yep.
panda. That would be my title. I'm a Sifu in the Chinese martial arts. Yang Tai Chi, Chola Foot Kung Fu, and Qigong. Those are the three areas of expertise for me. So that's kind of my journey into adulthood.
I'm gonna lose all my redneck cred here, man. But I know two of them, Qigong and Young Style Tai Chi. Actually, Taoist, because
Yeah,
we had a library. We did have a library when I grew up, and man, they had an Eastern philosophy and martial arts section. It was
wow,
about that big, and I read every bit of it. It
amazing.
blew my mind, dude. Eastern philosophy and stuff. It's wow. It's
A whole nother
amazing.
world. Yeah, it's a whole nother world. Absolutely. Yeah. The other one I do is actually the one I started with, is Chola Foot Kung Fu. That's just the Shaolin Kung Fu. That's just a fancy style of Shaolin Kung Fu. A lot of people have heard of things like Wing Chun. Chola Foot would be like a sister art to that. Yeah, Bruce Lee and Ip Man made Wing Chun very famous, but there were little history for you. In Hong Kong, there were rival gangs. The Chola Foot guys and the Wing Chun guys would always get into it. And the Chola Foot guys would win a lot of times until Bruce Lee showed up and he was like, you know what, there's a better way to do this. And so they've been battling ever since. And yeah, I enjoy the Shaolin arts. It's what I originally started off with as a teenager, but eventually I started learning to appreciate the internal arts, which are Qigong and Tai Chi. Internal arts are not just good for your body, for health. They're also really good for your brain, for your mind. They create that relaxation, lower blood pressure, reduce stress and anxiety, but they also develop strength, flexibility, balance. all the things we need without too much impact on the joints. So when people say, oh, but it's only for old people, that's not true, actually. The younger you start Tai Chi, the longer and healthier you're going to live. But yes, you'll see a lot of old people maybe in the park doing Tai Chi. And the reason they can move that way when they're 70, 80, 90 years old is because they've probably been doing it for quite a while. So I've been teaching and training that for over 20 years. And I incorporated it into a lot of my fitness and wellness programs for my clients, because you can't beat a lot of the Eastern training and a lot of the Eastern arts. These are things that have been around for thousands of years and they still work. So I love incorporating them into my holistic health and wellness routines.
I'm sure CJ has something smart to say, but I'm not here for that. That's why she's here. Here's two things. First of all, the smart thing I'll say is that there's cage fight. There was a cage fighter a few years ago, and he went out for about a year and a half, 2 years, and studied the soft arts, right, the internal arts, right, all these Tai Chi and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
he come back. Now he didn't fight like that, but he did. He was saying, listen, I got a better instinct. He says I'm better aware of things. It did make him a better fighter. So
Yes.
it's not that you're just going to go out there and circle it. We don't kick people off horses and stuff anymore, right? Some of that stuff, you're like, why you kick like that? Well, because back in the day, you had to unhorse a guy. Now, unless you're riding a really big dog, I don't need that kick anymore, right? But that's the only smart thing I want to say. You want something to add to that? Because that makes sense to me. It makes sense because even Tommy, I don't know where he's at. He's going to go crazy. But after a hard workout and, Muay Thai stuff, I like this transition to Qigong exercise.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it
I
brings you
start
back down.
I start all my training, all my workouts with some internal. I do some meditation breathing, some Tai Chi movement, slow motion, warms the body up, and I also cool down with it. It does. Training internal energy, cultivating internal energy does give you a different kind of sharpness and focus. My bread and butter, just so everybody knows, I was doing Shaolin Kung Fu, which means Chinese Sanda, which is the kickboxing, right? The grappling, the striking, the self-defense. These are deadly techniques. But once I started doing Tai Chi, my mind and my body synced up so much better. So even my regular Kung Fu training, the fast, explosive stuff, just got sharper, it got cleaner, it got faster, it got stronger. Yeah. You want to get good at something, you need to connect the mind to the body. You need to recalibrate your parasympathetic nervous system, it's what it's called. And Tai Chi just has life-changing health benefit, Qigong as well. And for those people who are not into the Chinese arts necessarily, there's yoga, which comes from India, 5,000 years old. Same concept. It's the internal training that really connects the mind to the body. I just happen to specialize in Tai Chi and Qigong. I've been doing yoga since I was 4. One of the few things my dad did make me do since I was a kid. So I'm very, very well aware and equipped in the internal arts. And honestly, I've never felt younger. I've never felt healthier. I'm going to turn 42 here in a few years. And I think that the training has just really, really helped my mind and my body stay in really, really good, just peak shape. So I recommend it to everybody. If you want to get started, I know a guy who can help you.
I got you beat, young man. I'm 43.
43.
And I did.
You look
and
fantastic.
I did redneck. Yeah, thank you. It's my Avon lady, wrinkle cream and stuff. I'm doing good. So I did redneck Pilates with Michael Gale. People thought it was a joke. No, he was seriously teaching me Pilates, but I put it on YouTube and everybody's like, that's funny. I'm like, no, I went to the country and showed people. They're like,
yeah.
And you know what's funny is that Big Cletus was like, you know what? I have knee pain. And I'm like, yeah, man, it'll help. Like, so I'm teaching all these big, tough country guys, like, how to do downward dog yoga.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
We should have had that on tape. Yeah, I'll go back and do it.
Internal that means I'm older than both of you. That means I need more Tai Chi. I'm like, stretch me, meditation. Yeah, but
you're older than all of us, dude. CJ. So, it's not very fair. But what I tell people is people who want longevity, if you want to live 10, 20, 30 years longer, internal training. Start it now. It's never too late. You will live a longer, healthier life. You can do more things later is what I tell people. You don't want to be the 80-year-old that's stuck in a wheelchair. You want to be the 80-year-old that's jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. You want to be that person.
If I'm stuck in that wheelchair, you better have some glitter and some sparkles in it. Like I'm telling you right now, and it better have some music in it and an umbrella. Because I don't want to be hot like Mike right now. It's like
it's 96, still 96. I gotta get some ice packs. So I'm gonna let Dr. CJ take over for a minute, but I have to get this out here because she had you on the show, right? So that's what I do. I'm like, wait, anybody goes on Dr. Constance Leland's show and it's awesome, I steal them, right? So, but then I made a comment. Maybe it was Susanna. Maybe I put a comment on there. I said my 3 favorite martial artists in order is Harsha, Bruce Lee, And that big guy in that movie that wore that karate gi everywhere for no reason, that kept saying, "Leroy, I'm the baddest Leroy." What movie was that, dude? You gotta answer or we kick you off. You gotta know it.
That was Bruce Leroy from God. What was the name of that?
Last Dragon or something.
The
Dragon something.
Last Dragon. Yeah, yeah. You
Yes,
got
you
it.
got it. What that was the goofiest movie, dude. I'm gonna go watch it right after this,
We were
man.
talking about
Who's
Shogun. Shogun was the villain.
Yeah,
yeah?
Shogun was.
Yeah,
That is
Who's
so
the
funny.
am I the prettiest? Showing up, right?
that's
Oh
right.
man, I'm gonna do that. All right, CJ, save the show for everybody goes. Help us.
No, so Harsha's been on my show, but recently Harsha's been on Susanna's show.
Mhm.
And Susanna, so they know, like you guys know, whoever's in my show, I don't pick random people. I'd rather talk by myself than I don't have a good energy with somebody else, right? And so what I do is elevate people, but I have to feel that energy. And Harsha, okay, if anything, guys, if anything, I was talking to him about like gaining weight and losing weight and how lazy I am to do my exercise. And I'm like, okay, talk to me as if I'm a paying client. I'm not a paying client, but like, what would you tell me right now to save me? And Harsha's like, just drink cold water with ice. Put it on your fridge. And I was like, do you know I don't like water, right? Like I drink coffee and that's my water. He's like, listen, drink cold water. I'm like, ooh. So I challenge my sisters every morning to drink cold water to, help us. And it does. It keeps your mind alert and it keeps you in there. And I love that you guys were talking about Bruce Lee and Wing Chun because I know it was a rival gang, right? They're actually more southern gang with Wing Chun. And it wasn't until Bruce Lee, which by the way studied under Ip Man. And I have all the Ip Man, thank you very much, because my husband spoils me and I have all the Ip Man. It's on Plex, it's on my DVD. I watch it all the time. But what I love about Harsha is his heart and his passion for helping others, and what all of the things that he learned as a master Sifu teacher, father, master, same thing. He puts it to business people because listen, as business people, we have to basically dodge everything. It's like putting on the hat of CEO, putting in the hat of marketing, putting in the hat of relationships management, putting in the hat of IT, right? And people throw crap at you and you're like, nope, nope, not today, right? But Harsha helps you, like you said, internal alignment. And people think, oh, I don't need internal alignment. Really? You know that
Oh,
tension you feel in your neck? You know that tension you feel in your back that you want to like, oh my God, why does it hurt, right? Is
can't go to
because
sleep.
carrying that energy. And Harsha
Yep.
can help you with that. But his attitude about helping you is almost like talking to a meditation master, right? Like Kim Lee's really good at meditation, but like having Harsha talk about you in business and his way of teaching you is what I love. And he is a soul-hearted brother from another mister. Stop me anytime, Harsha. You're blushing. Go ahead. Stop me at any time.
Really, really hard to make me do that. Thank you so much for the compliments. I do appreciate that. I think everybody has their journey, and martial arts and my mentors helped empower me. Coming out of a very struggling household and background, I think when I started to see results and what I was able to do with my mind and body, I was convinced that this is my path. I have to incorporate it, right? And it's not just martial arts, and it's not just meditation and breathing, right? I studied nutrition, so I know what to put in my body. Um, the things we read, the things we watch on television, my goodness, the news cycles are just getting overly overbearing for people. Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on politically, just remember that what you're watching on TV, they have a vested interest in getting outrage from you. So you'll keep watching them and you'll keep, donating your time and money toward them. So the company you keep matters. What's the energy like? The things you watch on television, the things you read, are they riling you up or are they bringing you peace and comfort? You want to surround yourself with energy that fills you and makes you grow. You don't want to be around energy that breaks you down or frustrates you or angers you. And that's unfortunately, fear is the greatest motivator. When you're scared, you're more likely to take action than any other emotion. And people tend to prey on that with others. And that's why I love martial arts, because when you feel empowered, And when you feel fit and you feel strong and you're confident in your ways and your abilities, nobody can sway you. You're like a strong oak tree. Nobody can move you. Even the heaviest winds can't knock you down. And that's just part of my entire message. When I work with clients, they're just different pillars that we need to focus on. Nutrition and hydration being one of them. Um, Physical workouts, the physical fitness part of it being another. Your community of people, who are you around? Mike, I love the fact that you've got the Hounds and you're just bringing a community of people together who are, heart-centered and doing good for each other and the rest of the community. It's an amazing thing that you put together. And I love how young and fresh you are, considering you have to run this operation pretty much on your own. It's amazing what you do. I don't know when you sleep, but that community is important. Your outlook is important. Are you a positive person, or are you always one of those doom and gloom, like the world is ending kind of people? Those things are all important in total and holistic health and wellness. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and they feed off of each other. But we all have different ways of getting there. So for me, martial arts was the vessel that carried me there. And then I started to expand into what I wanted to do. And the clients I work with now, usually they have one or two pillars that they absolutely need to focus on. But I try to make sure that all 4 or 5 of those pillars are just absolutely, at the forefront of our people's minds. So if you can focus on those little things each day, that's the secret to a long life and a successful life. Whatever you want to do in your life, it's being consistent on the tiny things, right? I like waking up around the same time. I like working out around the same time. I like eating about the same stuff. I try to keep a regular habit going, so it takes the thinking out of it, and I see the gains that happen. And then now when I work with people, they can look at me and say, hey, this guy might actually know what he's talking about, because he's got the energy, he's got the knowledge, he's got the experience. And then I can show you results. And even just a couple of weeks, you start to see things changing for yourself. So whatever your area of expertise is, start there and just expand. That's my best advice.
I
Dude,
love it.
that's the most concrete sound stuff. Let me ask you real quick, because she's got a good question, but I do. This is a good question. You just described like everybody. So people may think, well, I need to be a martial artist or interested in the martial arts to benefit. Your coaching helps what, business owners, single parents? I mean, like, who is your clientele?
Yeah, I work with I work with athletes, I work with entertainers, I work with business executives, company owners, CEOs. It does, yeah. I approach things from a unique place, but generally it's, we work with whatever's going on in the mind first. When you can just change the view that you look, the lens a little bit from which you look through, and your mind kind of gets on board, it's amazing what the body can do. You would surprise yourself. A strong mind creates a powerful body. If the mind believes it, my motto is, if the mind believes it, the body will achieve it. So yeah, it doesn't matter what you need. I'm very, very good friends with a former NFL star, Quinn Early. He used to play in the 90s. He was what you would call a unicorn in the National Football League back in the day. He had a 12-year career as a wide receiver, and he was a top 5 wide receiver for most of his career. The average NFL player, even today, has the lifespan of 3.3 years in the organization. They don't, their bodies and their brains can't handle more than that. But he, along with me, we studied at White Dragon. We studied Tai Chi. We studied Kung Fu. And what gave him the longevity and the health was when the fourth quarter hit and everybody started getting tired, his body and his brain were super sharp. His endurance and his stamina and his mental belief was so good. He was able to pick up those extra touchdowns for his teams at the very, very end. And there were a lot of games he won for his teams in that last quarter because he was just so sharp and so focused. And he'll be the first one to tell you, I talk to him all the time. I just had lunch with him the other day, and he was like, if it weren't for the Tai Chi and Kung Fu training, man, he was like, I would not have the success that I have. And you meet the guy today, you look at him, you wouldn't believe that he's pushing 60 years old. He's a stuntman in Hollywood, and he's now directing and writing things. And like his career has just shifted and turned into something so successful. And I'm just like, wow, how do you do it? And he's like, daily training. It's just consistency every single day. It doesn't matter who you are. Anybody can learn this stuff. Anybody can change the way they think and the way they move. You will see results basically instantly. Like your whole attitude will change about life once your mind is tweaked. Just turn it 90 degrees and you'd be amazed what you're capable of. You can do the impossible.
You can. I used Tai Chi in the fire department, dude. People were astounded by it because I was like 120 pounds with it was not easy for me.
Yeah.
But the whole balance and the aware, I mean, it sounds weird, but
Yeah,
people were actually interested. They're like, what are you
absolutely.
doing? I'm like, dude, I'm like 100 pounds with 600 pounds of pressure. You're going to have to find some way to harp. But hey, Susanna, this is for you. Am I the prettiest? Type it out. Sure enough. She said that. There you go, Susanna. That was on her show. She's like, yeah, she'll never forget. All right. Dr. Constance Leland, save us.
Oh my God. No, I'm just really loving this conversation.
It's fun.
So I have a question, and really more of helping your clients, right? And I love, because wide receiver, that's hard, right? You're just running, making sure you're supporting the quarterback. So yeah, that takes a lot. Now, my question is, how do you stay, like, if you have a client, right, and you coach them or mentor them, how do you stay motivated and maintain momentum when working towards a long-term goal? Because we know that long-term goals is a year or more, and sometimes the immediate goal is just seems so daunting. There's just so much thrown at you. You're like, I'm done, I am so done, son, right? But
Yeah.
you have this long-term goal. Like for me, my vision is to be the Netflix of education. It's not easy. My mission to level up the world to education is not easy, but that's my vision and my mission, and I have a way of getting there, but it's exhausting. So, how would you mentor
Yeah.
someone to say, hey, stay motivated, maintain that momentum, and work towards that long term goal? What would be your advice?
Great question. One of the best questions I've heard yet. What I tell people, and the secret to my success with my clients is really this: it's building off. It's finding the little victories that you have and focusing on those. And it's not being a braggart, but it's remembering when you achieve a little something, that's the building block for the next thing you're gonna achieve. So let me give you an example. When I started at White Dragon, I started in 2003. Um, our grandmaster, Doc Fai Wong, he's the leader of the entire Plum Blossom Federation, which has 200 schools in 40 countries, largest kung fu federation in the world. And he's a living legend in his own right. Master Nathan Fisher's teacher. He has an international tournament in San Francisco every year, or he used to, at least back in the day. So I went to my first one the very next year after being a student, and I was a very low ranking individual. There's white belt, and then right after that is yellow. I think I was a yellow sash, yellow belt. So pretty much, I'm a beginner, and my instructor signed me up to do some sparring, to do some fighting. I had a little bit of practice, but the rules, that we did in White Dragon were a little bit different than the rules in San Francisco. And I remember my instructor coming by me and saying like, "Hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. The rules are different." So like I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to do it. But I was going to have fun with the experience. And what ended up happening somehow, and I don't know how it happened to this day, because it wasn't that I was such a good fighter, but I ended up winning all 5 of my matches and winning first place at this international kung fu fighting tournament as a yellow belt, which rarely ever happens. But I remember using that as fuel every single day. I wanted to train harder because I was like, oh my God, I did this thing, and it was an impossible thing, but I did it. And it doesn't matter how I did it, which means I'm going to have to go above and beyond that. And so I would always think about that experience and smile about it, because that was a big deal to me. And then I started winning bigger tournaments, more intense things, higher levels, ranking up. And so I went from a student to an instructor, a trainer, and then eventually became a Sifu, competing my way up. You just build on the little things. So let me tell you about one of my clients. When I first met him, 64 years old, he could do 2 push-ups, and that was it. 8 months later, I'm working with him now. He can do 30 push-ups without stopping. But when he got to 5 from 2, he sent me a text excitedly. I did 5 push-ups today without falling over. And I said, use that as fuel. 5 turned into 10, 10 turned into 15, turned into 20, turned into 30. Today, he can pop down and pop out 30 like nobody's business. And let me tell you something, 64-year-old guy, for somebody to stop and drop and do 30 push-ups, that puts you in like the top 10% of the world when it comes to doing push-ups and strength training. So phenomenal that he's able to do it. And if he can do it, he'll be the first one to tell you anybody can do it. You just got to start with 1, turn it into 2, turn that into 3, 4, 5, and build on it. Small little victories, build on those. That's the secret.
I believe in that. I totally believe in that, because when I came to this country, didn't know how to speak English, and in 3 months, they had a public speaking competition, right, about your life, and I volunteered to do it. And my dad had to take anxiety pills because he's nervous and I'm not. And he's like, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" And I'm like, "Dad, what do you mean? It's just talking." And he's like, you don't even understand some of these words." I'm like, "That's why I'm gonna study it, right?" And when you win, it just keeps going. You're right, it's a momentum, right? It's just it gets to that momentum. But people do get tired and kind of break down when things are thrown at you.
Absolutely.
Mike, any additional questions that you would like to ask him?
Nothing that's sensical. Actually, I do. We were talking about this before, right? And what you're talking about, man, is well-being, health, but there's also, personal protection, self-defense mechanism to this, right? You understand that. So, and we were just talking. This has no point really, but it's interesting because I train because I like to fight, but here I don't like to get hit. Right? So yeah, I wasn't very, I wasn't a very good fighter. Like
You and
I
me
could roll.
both.
Yeah, I'm like Floyd Mayweather, redneck version, man. I just learned how not to get hit, like, and then run away, like, you call the police or something, but, um, do you do those things as well? Like, do somebody do, like, self-defense or personal protection? Have you done those? Do those in
Oh yeah.
companies or something, or no?
I that's what I started out teaching and doing, self-defense instruction. It was the Shaolin Kung Fu. It's the fighting arts. I was a teenager. I was 18, 19. Loved that stuff. Like that was my bread and butter. And something people should know about Tai Chi also, Tai Chi is a system of self-defense. There are actual fighting applications.
Yeah,
If you're learning actual Tai Chi, always ask your teacher, what is the application of this? What is the fighting application? If they know and they can tell you, that's a real Tai Chi instructor. If they have no clue, then they probably just copied it from somewhere. But Tai Chi is an original fighting
right.
system that the emperor actually hired the inventor of the Yang system, trained his army in Tai Chi so that they'd be better in battle. So yeah, I started with the self defense. Most of my competitions when I was younger were fighting competitions. I did grappling, I did kickboxing, I did MMA tournaments, and I was the kung fu guy that would go out there and I would win. And people were like, "No, kung fu doesn't win. You got to be
Right.
doing taekwondo, or you got to be doing a Muay Thai, or you got to be doing jiu-jitsu. Those are the only ones that win." Not true. I tell everybody this: if you're studying a martial art, it doesn't matter what the martial art is, the actual art, as long as it's being taught well by really experienced, intelligent, and passionate individuals, you will learn it really well. And if you're putting 100% of yourself into it, you will become a very good martial artist. So it doesn't matter to me if you do karate. It doesn't matter to me if you do taekwondo, Muay Thai, kickboxing, sanda, jiu-jitsu, judo. Doesn't matter. Whatever you do it extremely well. And somebody had put up something earlier, the art of not getting hit. You might be talking about Aikido, which is using somebody's own energy and
Yeah.
balance against them. Very similar to Tai Chi. It's the Japanese version. Yeah, there are lots of martial arts out there. Lots. Kung Fu alone has 118 different styles. There's so many, but they all come down to the core of it, which is self-defense and self-realization too, from a mental level, knowing yourself and then being able to know your opponent and then knowing exactly what movements are necessary when for self-preservation. That's really what martial arts comes down to.
Yeah. And I love that you rise beyond your limits and embrace your next level. That is level up, right? Like, wow, that is level up. You rise beyond your limits and you're like, let's go, embrace next level. My next question is, how do you foster creativity and innovation in your work, especially when you're faced with challenges?
Great question. Nobody is going to go through life without hitting obstacles and roadblocks. The 90% of people in this world are instantly going to retreat or find the path of least resistance. That's just how we're wired and that's how we're designed, especially in the civilized world. But the difference between them and the people who move the needle are people always who move the needle, they try to figure out ways around it. They don't let failure, if you want to call it that, stop them. You just find a different way to try things, right? Look at all the innovators of our lifetime, the Thomas Edisons, the Nikola Teslas, people that you might idolize who are just top in their field. I promise you, not a single one of them just nailed it the first time. They tried and they tried and they tried, and they found another way around it. My personal sports hero and idol is Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, the GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. No, it's not LeBron, and I'd be happy to have that discussion with you. It's Michael Jordan, and he was cut from
Those were in
his
our 40s.
he was cut from his high school team. And he went home and he cried, and he was so passionate about this, and he cried. And his mother and his father basically told him, well, what are you going to do about it? And for the rest of that summer and rest of that year, he never left the house without a basketball in his hand. He trained, he played, he took shots, he worked on his dribbling, he worked on his fundamentals. Not only did he go back the next year and become varsity, but he took his team to the championship, went on to become the best college player, and then went on to become the greatest player that ever lived. And that is inspiring, because we watch him on television, we just think, oh, wow, he's just so gifted and he doesn't have to try. No, he was in the gym at 4 a.m. every single day.
Yeah.
He was working out before workout started at 7. And then at 7 o'clock, he worked out with the team. And then he went and weightlifted after that with his trainer. That is a man who put in time and time again. So to answer your question, Dr. Leland, you find unique ways to get around the obstacles. For me, when I work with my clients, sometimes those roadblocks happen. Something as easy as changing your setting, your environment. Sometimes I just take them to a different location for the training or the workout. Sometimes we go from a phone call to a video call where they can see my face, because it changes the dialogue a little bit, right? It's just changing, making small little tweaks in the interaction immediately changes the entire interaction. And that kind of opens up the creative mind a little bit. That opens up the dialogue a little bit. It makes the interaction more enjoyable. It makes the workout more enjoyable. It makes the session more enjoyable. So I always try to tweak the tiniest little things inside of an interaction. One small tweak, like the butterfly effect, one small tweak could move mountains. That's my advice to everybody.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to go because I have a class. But this is what I'm gonna tell you about Michael Jordan, because I love Michael Jordan, and I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I believe it was in his 1997 Just Do It, right? The whole Just Do It for Nike.
Yeah.
Basically, when they talked about his failure, and he said, hey, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career.
Mhm.
I've lost almost 300 games.
Mhm.
26 times I've been trusted by my people, right? My entire team to win. And I totally missed all those times. I failed over and over and over again in my life. But that is why I succeed.
That is amazing. It's like, wow, you memorize that. That is
Oh,
incredible.
because that's my motivation, bro. That's like, yeah, that's right. I love
That's really what it is.
MJ. MJ's the bomb. Like,
And when he swept Shaquille O'Neal and the Orlando Magic in 1996, he went up to the big fella, the most dominant center of our lifetime, and he said, before you succeed, you must learn to fail. You must first learn to fail. And Shaquille O'Neal tells everybody that story. He's like, before you succeed, you must learn to fail. You're either going to win or you're going to learn. I consider both of them winning anyway. So that's a great quote. Absolutely.
yeah, love you guys. I do have to go.
Take
Harsha.
care.
Oh, you
Doc.
still got 2 minutes.
Good.
You got 2 minutes. Where you going? Wait a minute. Hey, before we do that,
Yeah.
so I hit a button, but I can't hear the music. So we have music now. Do you know that? I didn't know
We
that.
do?
I'm just pushing buttons. You do. Look, check it
Are
out.
you singing? I'm gonna have to stay for a minute if you're singing. Let's go.
I can't hear that.
It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. I'm the old lady here. I'm almost 50. So hey.
Almost 50. My gosh. See, my family aged like milk. So I don't know. I didn't know people were supposed to be all right when they're like 60. I'm serious. I was like, we done turned it like the Crypt Keeper at 60 years
Wow. You
back.
need Doc Leland's skincare routine. It's phenomenal.
Oh,
Yeah.
just watch my TikTok. I'm there, just trying to show you which machine you should be using.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my
Bye,
goodness.
guys.
We
Love
know
you.
you have to go. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
DJ, so great seeing you.
See ya.
Man, real quick. Hey, I forgot to do this earlier, but I got to give a shout out to our supporters, man. Great hounds and friends of mine, Harsha.
Yeah.
Scott Heathman, man, guy ran the Air Force Base. He knows what he's doing, and now he's helping companies and he's helping executives just do better. Like CJ would say, level up, right? Reduce that tension, understand systems better, man. Just solve the problem and really get your team and your culture really cohesive. Right? This guy, I mean, people would follow him if he wasn't a colonel. I mean, they do now, right?
Yeah.
Stand-up guy, great friend. Everybody go to elevatingothersllc.com, elevatingothersllc.com. So I want to give Scott a big shout out. And now look, I'm gonna hit the wrong buttons. All right. So so what do you want to talk about? Because CJ left and I'm out of jokes, except for Susanna's still here. Hey, Susanna, am I the baddest? Showing up. All right. Somebody got y'all typing this stuff, man. All right. Bye, Jamie. I appreciate you. So glad you came. Love Jamie. All right. Oh, back to the MJ. If guys, look, hey, comment. Tell me if I'm wrong. If you're at least in your 40s or above, you got to be MJ, right? I mean, there's yeah, and then the dream team, man, was Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman before he lost it. You know, when the space aliens got him. Uh, and by the way, and while I'm rambling, just ridiculous things, Aikido.
Yeah,
Dude, if
Aikido.
you mention Steven, if you say Steven Seagal, I'm pulling the plug. We're done. All right, don't go there. All right, don't go there.
Here's what I'll tell you about Steven Seagal.
Oh, here we go. He's going there.
Here's what I'll tell you about him. His legitimate knowledge of Aikido is actually very high level. He went and trained under one of the highest Japanese grandmasters, married his daughter, did the whole 9 yards. Very big, strong guy, very good at Aikido. The problem is a lot of his Aikido is very show form Aikido. And he also had this weird chip on his shoulder when he entered the Hollywood industry. And he was just talking really bad about any martial artist, basically, that wasn't Bruce Lee. And the thing is, I think he overestimated, or at least tried to portray himself as a very high level martial artist and everybody else is low levels. But he never really trained once he started getting famous. He started getting larger. He's basically obese now. He was getting aggressive with people on set. Not a lot of nice stories about the man.
Right.
And one of my favorite stories, though, is he was at a party with Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he was just talking a lot of trash about Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme challenges him to a fight and waits outside for him, and Steven Seagal never shows up. So that right there tells you everything. That there's just a lot of talk and not a lot of action. And so anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. But when it comes to the actual Aikido, he is a master in his own right. But how that translates into actual fighting and philosophy and his actual discipline and how he trained and all of that, I couldn't tell you anymore. If you look at him, you would see a guy that probably doesn't move very much these days. But I did enjoy a couple of his movies back in the day.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, man. It's like Vanilla Ice. Everybody got mad and ripped their tapes up, but we still love it. We still dance to it. Get over it. Same thing. We all watch Under Siege 1 and 2. Don't
There you
lie.
go. There you go.
Jamie's still here. She knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did. It again. It's sad because fame does that, man. But and you mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme. See, I could say that right, Jean-Claude, but I can't say Harsha.
Yeah.
But hey, I saw him. What is he? 100 years old or something? And he was doing those flippy kicks, like somebody was fast forwarding, but it wasn't. Dude, it was him at old age. He's still kind of like Sylvester Stallone, man. They're still like amazingly.
Those guys
in their
stay in shape. They work out. They train. Michael Jai White is another one. Arnold Schwarzenegger still trains and works out. Like, I have a lot of respect for these types of individuals. The original strongmen. But into their 70s, right? They're still working out. There's Sylvester Stallone. The guy is built like a truck still. And he's a whole 30 years older than I am, which is, but I grew up with Rocky and Rambo. And just to go back to what we were talking about, inspiration really does help motivation, because you can't be motivated forever. You need constant doses of inspiration. So for me, it was things like Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. I would go back and watch those old fights, like against Sonny Liston and George Foreman, the ones he was supposed to get murdered in, and somehow he just completely outclassed the guys. Rocky, probably one of the greatest stories ever, the underdog that just never gave up. That became my mindset. That became my mentality. These kinds of inspirational, like, my God, Rocky IV, when we defeated the Soviet Union, when America beat communism, that was because of Rocky, It
was.
But I love the story, right? There's this invincible giant. It's David and Goliath, and David came through. Those are the kinds of things I latched onto as a young, budding martial artist. And I always saw myself as that underdog. It's like, you know what? If you work at it and you push yourself, you are going to thrive. You are going to be the success story. And so I did. I always competed against people heavier than I was. When I started martial arts, I was a $130. And then when I finally got into my prime, and I still competed at 155, 160. That was my fighting weight. That's what I weigh now. Anywhere between 160, 165 is my actual weight. It didn't change a lot from my heyday in training. But I was always going up against guys that were 185, 190 cutting weight. But that just showed me when I won, it was the technique. The technique did conquer all. Good technique wins. So yeah, size doesn't matter.
Who said it? Who said don't fear a man that knows 1,000 moves? Fear a man that practices one move 1,000 times. Was that Bruce Lee?
I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 different kicks. I that practiced 1,000 kicks one time. I fear the man that practiced one kick 10,000 times. That's the man you need to worry about.
10,000 times.
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. The Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, those are guys that took 10,000 shots every practice to hone and perfect their skill. That's why
Yeah.
they're legends in the game. Legends. So yeah.
And that is a stellar point, man. Great point for anything, business, organizations. You know, you got Jamie out there trying to, help people and push her cause.
Yeah.
Single focus. And you talk like a calm David Goggins, man. I've been on a David Goggins kick. And he said the same thing. He's like, that constant motivation. We need that little bit, because somebody come by with a glass of water, knock that kindling out. Right. It's like a spark and a little bit of kindling. And he said, keep adding it. And then all of a sudden you got this raging forest fire the fireman can't stop. It's like that, man. You get that little spark, you go to a convention, and then it dissipates, right? You New Year's, and then 14 days later, you're not back in the gym. What's your best advice for folks to kind of start moving that needle? How can they reverse that self-talk and disbelief and whatever gets in the way of us making positive movement?
Yeah. So let me give you a personal example. In my organization, White Dragon, when I first started, there were 5 guys that made it to the level of Sifu in the 25 years the organization had been around. It's actually, White Dragon is going to be celebrating their 40th anniversary next year. They just finished the 39th year. But back in my day, there were 5 guys that made it to the top of the mountain. So when I made that my goal, and everybody, including people inside the organization, were telling me that it was going to be impossible. It's, your family's telling you, are you kidding? Like, you're too small. We are not an athletic people. We are book people. We're nerds. We're not physical people.
Right.
When you get all of that, for me, that's like pushing a button, right? Because I love to do something that proves the masses wrong. That's what drives me. Right? Motivation comes and goes, but you got to find what drives you. What is that little thing that brings you the joy? And for me, it's the satisfaction of knowing that I was able to go somewhere where other people thought it was impossible. Not to shove it in their face, though. That's not why I did it. I wanted to show people, hey, you can achieve something that you think is impossible. So maybe if I lead by example and I achieve something, maybe you will try that one thing you have not wanted to try because you thought it was impossible. I try to motivate in that way, or I try to inspire in that way. And it's great when you watch somebody transform in real life. I've had many students, many clients, many trainers thousands of people have come through me when it came to martial arts training and fitness training. Watching people just change and transform in a 30-minute session with me, there's no better feeling. The gratification I got from that, watching real-time change, the best feeling in the world. It's what drives me and inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing now. I just happen to not be with White Dragon anymore. I'm doing it on my own with my own company, but couldn't be happier, couldn't be healthier, and the results speak for themselves. So I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful.
And it took a lot of courage for you to do that, man. That was not. I've been there. A lot of us been there, and you speak the truth, man. It's a grind. It's the below the surface stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's what people don't see. Oh, he's lucky to no. I mean, dude, you're the same way as I am. Early 40s, we have things, kids, family, and making major life changes sounds like the craziest thing. I'm gonna quit my job and live my dreams. You're like, wait a minute. No, hell no. You got a 401k, right? You got benefits, right? And but we find ourselves making these tough choices. And this is why I love having you on, the folks in the comments and the guests, because y'all just didn't read this out of the book, man. This ain't just academia, right? This is real world stuff. It's people who have struggled through it, learned, and you can learn from them. And I love it, man. So, and by the way, what was it? We were, man, I can go on and on with goofy stories, but you talked about it earlier when you was talking about the soft skills and people laugh at it. And
Yeah.
and it's really you mastering the style, because I know 2 guys. I used to laugh at Taekwondo. I was like, get out of here, man. I'll whoop them down the street. But I met one guy who taught me a lesson.
Yeah.
Oops. He must have been a different type of Taekwondo, because I come running out of there. I'm like, holy cow, man. Because I was like, why am I paying my daughter to come in here and, learn this crap? And, I'm all, he proved me wrong that day. So,
Yeah.
again, I love that. I just love it. But I saw a cage fighter do it. This guy was bopping around and he's doing all this kind of Tom Poe stuff.
Mhm.
And dude just swept his leg out. That was it.
There it is.
He's watching that leg go like this. He's like, I'm
Right.
like, you could have come in with a flying, punch and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, pay attention. So
Yeah.
what are some of the parallels? Because I know I'm gonna let you go. I keep you till midnight. But you're West Coast. So hell, it's just 5 o'clock for you.
I am
But
West.
kind of in closing,
Yeah.
What is the parallels? What are some of the takeaways that you don't have to go and get a ninth degree in everything like you did, right?
No.
What are some takeaways from martial arts that people can apply today? The simple things throughout the day that can help them rebalance.
Yeah. Consistency. That's really it. Why did martial arts work out for me? My mentor, my teacher, Master Ming Lao, basically was like, we're going to have a lesson on this day every week. And here's the material I need you to be ready with. Like, I had a schedule. You're going to teach these students at this time. You're going to work out at this time. I had a routine. It took the thinking out of it. But yes, it was a very intense routine and schedule for me, but I was up for that. So for people that are like, well, I'm not looking to get those, I'm not trying to become a super high degreed, martial. I'm not trying to be a Sifu like you. No problem. I told CJ, every morning before you look at your phone, drink 16 to 24 ounces of cold water. And she was like, oh, but I don't like water. And I told her, I said, but just do it because it's going to do wonders for your health. Don't look at your phone. Don't get that dopamine hit first thing in the morning going on social media, because that's going to just mess with how the brain functions. Instead, go drink some water. Let the cold hits the metabolism, and the water is actually a lubricant for your organs, for your joints, and it sends a signal to the brain to release serotonin into the system, which is your happy feeling, the happy drug. So literally you can start off your morning feeling like $1,000,000 just by going downstairs or going across to the kitchen, grabbing 16 ounces and just sipping the water till it's done. I tell everybody, do that and watch your day turn into something way more incredible than it originally was going to be. That's it.
True.
Little habits, right? Flossing your teeth is really good. It's not good just because, you want to keep your teeth. But what happens is when you have that habit of doing something really, really good hygienically, it sends a signal to your brain that's saying, you care about yourself. You care about what's happening to your body. You care about, and when you have that mental signal, it makes you kind of take that affect to every single task at hand. Whatever you do, you're going to do with pride and for that self-care and self-preservation. Flossing is something I didn't do till I was 35 years old. And now not a day goes by where I don't do it. And it feels wrong if I don't have floss. I have to go to the store and pick some up if I'm traveling or whatever the case is. It's the little habits. Everybody, it's the little habits. I'm a martial artist, and most people are surprised when I train them and I work with them. I don't do any martial arts stuff with them. They're like, aren't you the karate guy? And I'm like, yeah, but that's not what you need. You just need minor tweaks in your daily routine, which are going to give you maximum results. And that's kind of what I specialize in, is figuring out what those are and how to maximize your results. So
You're extremely passionate, knowledgeable, and not full of what. What else do you need in a coach and a guide, man? Somebody to help you along the way. Listen, amateurs do stuff alone. I was an amateur for 41 years. I don't recommend it. But professionals, top level athletes, successful business folks, all of them, get coaching. I told somebody the other day, I said, you need to call a mechanic. They said, what for? I said, no, head mechanic. Yeah. No, I wasn't being mean. I'm like, I'm serious. We don't go out there and tinker with the engine if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
Sometimes you need somebody who specializes in this. And my favorite type of folks like you, Harsha,
Yeah.
you've been there, and you're still there. You still struggle with life and decisions, man. It's
Oh, yeah.
not like you're a Yoda or something, right?
Let
Like,
me tell this to all coaches out there. Coaches need coaches too. I get coaching as well. We're human beings. We're not some invincible gods. And if anybody on the social media networks tells you they've got the answers to everything, it's not true. But what we do have is we have a lot of experience in our particular fields of expertise. And we find that can be very helpful when translating over or becoming a parallel to one's own life. So it's always good to get another perspective. It's always good to get, it's always good to be exposed to somebody else's expertise. It just changes the way your brain thinks. It gives you a lot of good ideas. You find success the more you're exposed to that kind of stuff. So
it does. Pick up the Tao Te Ching, the I Ching, book of changes. That just blow your mind if you're not used to that. Just stress it, because honestly, to this day, man, I still think of the uncarved block, right? The water.
yeah.
I'm like, well, I can't fix this. Well,
Mhm.
if you can't go through it, go around it, go over it, right? Like, if you're too rigid, you can't do nothing. I mean,
Right.
life's gonna throw crap at you. You gotta learn how to slip it. But
Yeah.
if you're water, you take the shape of whatever the hell's around you. And that
Exactly.
makes total sense to me.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And then my last piece of advice for people, you accomplish a lot more when you write it down. I created health and wellness journals that you can find on Amazon, and I can link that to you actually, Mike, if you want. It's really, really important. When you write something down and you look at it, it sends a sharp signal to the brain that this is a priority. It's important.
Yeah.
So with every one of my clients that I work with, I give them one of those journals. And they basically, and I make it very easy to fill out. What's your mood like today? What did you eat today? What was your workout like? You just fill it in. It takes all of 5 seconds at the end of the day. How long did you sleep last night? So on and so forth. By writing it down, your brain is seeing where the deficiencies are, and it actually automatically makes the quick fixes. So I actually don't have to do a lot. When your brain sees what your activity is like and it's aware of it, it immediately starts making the balanced adjustments so that you can have a more efficient day. So I highly recommend you guys get these types of journals. I have them. I have one for kids. I have one for adults. My daughter fills hers out every day. I fill mine out every day. Phenomenal. It's life-changing. So keeps me disciplined.
Dude. Yeah. Man, I love this, man. I'll keep you forever, but I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you. Gabe, it's Gabi, Gabe. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, man, it's there's a whole backstory. You don't have time for this. But anyway, love the nuggets, love all this. Before folks run out, what do you have any events coming up? Do you have a place for them to go? Is TikTok better? You know,
yeah.
Do you have coaching? What is it?
So right now, check me out on social media. I'm in the middle of a rebrand right now. So the website is going to be going up in a few weeks. But right now, the best way to reach me is through my Instagram or my TikTok or LinkedIn. And I think, Mike, you have all the handles for those. Check out my videos, just little tidbits, simple things like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about working out. Let's talk about mindset. I have little, short 30 seconds to one minute videos that just kind of, hopefully it gives you something to think about that you wouldn't normally think about in your daily life. Like, comment, subscribe, send me a message. If you need a little extra something or you want to, personally talk to me or work with me or something like that, please reach out through a private chat. I always respond. My mission is to spread what I know. And the more people I get to in this world, the more satisfied I'm going to be. There are 8 billion people in the world. So I've got about 7 billion, 900 million, I've got a lot to go through. So reach out to me and, let's see what we can do together.
Man, we got to do something. I've got some educational presentations coming up, and we got to have you back. Man, I'll be bothering you, brother. So thank you for this, man. The comments, the Hounds of Business. If you're not in the Hounds of Business, we have a group call. Go check my profile out. It's right there on the front page. Go out there and check it out, man. Like I said, no strays. Right? Courage before confidence. And if you lack the resources, tools, support, that's what we're here for. It doesn't matter. We got very successful people and we got people just starting off. Hey, they reach back and they pull each other up. So I love having you in the pack. Love having you guys in the comments. Check us out. Hey, if we're not for you, hell, I'll walk you over somewhere. It might be for you. I ain't got no ego in this. We just want to, Harsha, you get this. If thousands, not even millions, thousands of good, heart-centered, high-level people who would give back and help others and spend their time, we can make a serious dent in food insecurity, man, homelessness and things that matter, mental health. That's what the Hounds is. Let's, like CJ would say, level up. Let's make more money. But what are we going to do with that money? We're going to do some more good, dadgummit. That's what we're going to do.
That's right.
It's the calling card, man. Heart.
100%. Awesome.
Appreciate you all. Hey, thank you all. Have a great night. And hey, next week, it's going to be a fun one, man. We're making some party decorations, man. I got music now. I got all kind. I even have like salsa and man, we're going to have a ball. So have a good one, guys. Appreciate you, Harsha. Go check him out.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Right on. See you next week, guys. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.